Hey Rocketeers, it is Charlie Rocket here, and I'm finally getting to tell you guys about Silk Volume 0. Here goes. I tried to make this video 5 billion times, so hopefully me doing it outside will force me to do it faster and actually post it. So, here goes. Just a little backstory about Silk. I freaking love her. She appeared in Amazing Spider-Man, I believe, Volume 1. But she was faceless and nameless and all that good stuff. But she really appeared in Amazing Spider-Man number 4, I think. I don't know. I actually didn't read Amazing Spider-Man. Kill me now, right? So my introduction to Silk is Volume 0 of Silk right here. So everything that I tell you guys is everything that I basically know. Silk has always been able to remember everything that happened to her in her life. So I consider that a superpower because I forget so many things all the time. But of course, she was bitten by a radioactive spider, and not just any radioactive spider. It is the same spider that bit Peter Parker. Because it was the same spider, she does have similar powers to Peter, as does everybody in the friggin' Spider-Verse who is a spider person, I guess. But of course, she has differing powers as well. They can't all be the same, right? So a lot of the stuff that is similar, she's got some super strength going on. She's got Spidey sense, which she actually likes to call Silk sense instead. You know, can't let Peter have everything. But some things that are different, her webbing comes through each fingertip, and kind of comes together as like a big rope when she's swinging on it or whatever. But she also can weave a lot of other things. For instance, one time she had to get out of costume really fast and she wove herself a new outfit, which would be bomb.com for me. Like, I would have an amazing wardrobe made out of gross spider stuff, webbing, nasty. Anywho, I also, there was a part where she wove a shield to protect herself, so that's pretty awesome. Also, it seems as though she has some claws going on that she's been able to cut through a lot of metal with, so they're super strong claws. And realistically, I think maybe she could potentially be stronger or better than Peter, with the powers that she has, which is hard for me to say. Y'all know I love Peter Parker so very much. But her backstory, she gets bitten by the spider, she gets all these powers, and they kind of overwhelm her. Like, she cannot control them. They're too strong. And so she goes to her parents and tells them about it, and they're like, we will find somebody who can help us. And they vow to help her. Fast forward, she meets this guy, Ezekiel Sims, I believe his name is. Ugh. I'm doing this review so far after I've read it, but she meets him and he has all these ideas of how to help her and offers the idea of her staying in a bunker until they can figure everything out. So she agrees to go into this bunker even though her parents are iffy about it and whatnot, and she'll stay in there just for everyone's safety while they meet up with scientists and different people to try and find her a cure. She ends up in that bunker for 10 freaking years, and she is rescued by Peter Parker. Now, the word rescued gets thrown out around a lot, which makes me think that she no longer wanted to be in the bunker, and it was no longer voluntary, and they don't really say how Peter found her or how he rescued her. They just keep saying that he was the one who did it. When she emerges from the bunker, she goes to find her family, and they have disappeared. Her parents and her brother, they are gone. She doesn't know where they are. Apparently, they moved from their apartment a year after she was in that bunker, so they've been gone a while. And she's not sure where they went. They left without a trace. As for Ezekiel Sims, he died. So she can't even go to him for answers. She's just really searching for her family. So in order for her to find them, she is now using her powers and her abilities to try and find her family. In addition to that, she also starts working for the Daily Bugle under none other than J. Jonah Jameson, to kind of use their contacts and kind of as a cover for her searching for her family while also making money because you gotta eat, right? You gotta eat. So basically, this comic book starts off with her fighting like F-level villain named Dragon Claw, and she likes to call him Pokemon Dude like the whole comic book, which I think is hilarious just because his name is so ridiculous. Um, she starts off fighting him, she beats him the F up, and he turns out to be one of Black Cat's little minions. So Black Cat is mad because now Silk is on the scene and costing her some money. So she is plotting to get rid of Silk. She sends Dragonclaw over to this guy named the Repairman. Here he goes right here. Bam! Who has some unconventional ways to make these baddies a little badder, right? So he is making a new suit for Dragonclaw, which may also require some surgery. I don't know what this is. He always has like scalpels and things and locking people to chairs. I don't know. But he's making a better suit for this guy, okay? Um, Meanwhile, Silk is doing a whole bunch of like little fights here and there. She fights like, for some reason, she decides to stay in the bunker like that's her apartment now. She doesn't want to be around people. And while she's in there, apparently there are cameras set up she is unaware of and somebody is watching her. And we do not know who this somebody is, but they keep testing her. Like they sent out a Hydra robot and she had to fight it, and then when she was done fighting it, they found the pieces of it and got like blood samples off of it from her and weird things like that, and we don't know who they are. But going from there, she keeps running into Dragonclaw. She also keeps running into Peter Parker. He's like showing up to check on her, and she keeps telling him, go away, get out of here, Peter, I don't want to talk to you, get out. And he's like, I'm just checking on you. Seems like your powers have been a little weird, you've been a little weird, your temper has kind of been on high. And she's like, don't even worry about it, okay? Get out of my face. So basically, Peter's worried about her, so he shows up at the bunker one day, and she's like, how'd you even know I was living here? Please leave forever. And Peter said, I had a feeling you would say that, probably because she said it 5 million times. So he brought some friends, and who are his friends? Bam! Fantastic Four. Right there. Okay, don't look at that. That's me telling you way too much. Basically, he brought the Fantastic Four to help her out. Reed Richards does a few tests on her to see what's going on, and he says, you know what, your powers seem fine, but maybe you have a lot of anxiety. Let me give you the number to this therapist. Her name is Dr. Sinclair. She could help. She works with a lot of heroes. She's very discreet. Silk is a little iffy on the idea. She doesn't really think that it's anxiety, and she's like, yeah, sure, okay, whatever. Meanwhile, of course, Johnny Storm is sitting here trying to date Silk, trying to ask her out. Peter is letting him know, look, you don't want to ask her out. She doesn't want to date anyone. It's worthless. And she goes, you know what? No, I'm going to go on a date with Johnny Storm. Forget you, Peter. But basically, their date wasn't really a big deal. They were very bored, so they ended up fighting crime together, and she ends up asking Human Torch what he thinks about what Reed Richards said. And he agrees that Reed is, you know, very rarely incorrect. So you may want to go with what he's saying. So she considers it. Going forward, talking about Dragonclaw again, he comes back with a new and improved suit where he's a real dragon. Not really, but he does breathe fire and have super strength now. So she fights him. It takes a lot, but she beats him the crap up, and she kind of loses control and is tearing this guy to pieces. And he's begging her to stop, and eventually she catches herself. And so she sits down with this guy, kind of has a heart-to-heart. Why are you doing this? She says. Why are you even doing these dumb crimes? And he says, you know what? I have a daughter at home. I have a lot of priors. I don't have a lot of options, and Black Cat is giving me this opportunity. So Silk gives him some advice, sends him off to find a job elsewhere where he can do some good, and take care of his daughter in a positive way. And so he's kind of like, yay, Silk. And she kind of lets him just get away. Black Cat is angry, to say the least. So she gets her people together. The repairman makes a whole bunch of awesome suits for all of her people, and they go out and kidnap Dragonclaw's daughter. They thought this is the best plan of action. So Dragonclaw runs to Silk for help. Silk also grabs Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and they all get together and say, we're gonna rescue this little girl. So they run, they rescue the little girl super fast. So clearly, I mean, we already knew it was a setup, but it's really a setup. They rescue the girl fast. Black Cat comes in with her people. Silk says, hey, Peter, take Dragonclaw and his daughter to safety, and I'll take care of this. She thought she was going to take care of it, but Black Cat whoops her butt, knocks her out, and she's like, all right, we about to take this girl out of here. Just then, someone hits Black Cat over the head. She doesn't know who it is. Then they start hearing ticking. All of her little minion people explode. The repairman has set her up with some faulty stuff to blow her people up and to knock her out, and he steals Silk to do some experiments on Silk. Come to find, Silk is locked on this table, and he tells her that he is working for the people who have her parents. He does not know who they are. He just knows they're super rich, so he's working for them. Must be the people who are watching her in the bunker. So she finds out someone's been watching her. She finds out her parents are somewhere being held, and that this guy works for them. She's able to free one of her hands, which enables her to free her whole body and fight off the repairman before he starts cutting her open while she's awake. But just then Black Cat comes in and tears the repairman up because she is mad she was double crossed. The fight is so big that the whole place collapses, killing the repairman, and Silk is livid. She starts fighting Black Cat because all the answers she needed from the repairman are now gone because he is dead. She and Black Cat fight for so long that both of them are exhausted, and Black Cat limps away and says, you should consider working for me. Silk is kind of knocked out, sitting in an alleyway when Peter Parker finds her, and they chat for a little bit about how she's upset that there's no answers about her parents. She goes back to the bunker, she tears the whole thing up, she finds the camera, and she looks in the camera and she threatens them and says, you know, I'm coming for you, I know y'all are watching me. Towards the end, she calls Dr. Sinclair. She's like, look, I need to talk to somebody about this anxiety. She goes to the therapist. She's trying to work her stuff out. All throughout this, she is also kind of explaining to J. Jonah Jameson that she got this job to find her family. They disappeared. She leaves out the fact that she's Silk, but he's been helping her on the side because he's actually like super compassionate in this one. In addition to being super compassionate, he's also all about Silk. He is excited there is a hero out there who is better than Peter Parker and is beating up Peter Parker sometimes. He does not like the Spider-Man, if you guys didn't already know. So he's super excited about Silk. He's amping her up so that he can push Peter down. You know, he could push Spider-Man down. But he's using all of his contacts to help Cindy Moon find her family. And towards the end of the book, there's a whole big situation happening that maybe I'll touch on next time when I know more about it. But J. Jonah Jameson says, hey, look, I found out there was a boy who was arrested. He went by your brother's name, but then he changed his name, so they weren't sure which one was an alias and which one was real. But he was arrested. He's now in this halfway house or something, and he may be your brother, so you may want to look into it. He was found in a gang and was arrested, and she was like, that can't be my brother would never do that, and there's no point in me looking. So Jameson says, well, in that case, I have an assignment for you, and you have to go to that boy and ask him questions about what's going on right now. And so he basically forces her to go check and see if this is her brother. So she hurries, she makes it there. It is her brother. They embrace. She's wondering what's going on. He can recognize her through her silk costume, like, no problem. He's like, Cindy, is that you? They are happy to be together, but that is where the comic ends. They are so beautiful. So this was a great comic, a great introduction to Silk. This is my favorite artwork of Silk right here on the cover. I even have a magnet on my fridge with this on it from years before I even read this. So I love this. I love the artwork. I love the writing. I love the story. And I'm going to wait to say if I like it better than Spider-Man. Y'all know I love Spider-Man so much, but this was bomb.com. I'm a huge, huge fan of Miles Morales as well. Soon I'm going to start Spider-Gwen. I'm just all about the Spider-Verse. But that was just volume 0. I'm going to do volume 1 next week. Bam! It's happening. I'm finally telling you guys about this stuff. But yeah, this was really awesome. You guys should pick it up. There's a lot more in there, so I didn't actually tell you everything. So there's still reason for you to go ahead and read it. She even has like some love interest stuff going in there, not just Johnny Storm or Peter Parker, but this super hot guy she knew from like high school. Oh my god. And I'm all about him. Like, I'm never like forget Peter Parker, but kind of forget Peter Parker and go for this guy. He's a hot piece of man candy. Anywho, so check out Silk. I'm so happy I finally finished this video. I love you guys. I hope you have a great Thursday.